Hi again. Welcome to day 21. Woohoo! Um, hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. If it's Monday, hope your week is off to a great start. I just want to get on here and go over day 21 with you, as well as just a couple updates on our Google slide presentation. These first four slides are staying the same. A lot of you have asked about Adventure Academy, and actually the login information should be the same as this, the new members code, and you might need to put in the school director name too. But if that's not working for you, just let me know and I can send these to you separately. Of course, are the plans for day 21. You'll notice please turn in science properties of material hunt. That is right here. And I have updated this slide as well with the 3 assignments that are due this week. So last week was a pretty heavy week. We had, I think, 5 things due. This week we have 3, and next week we have 1. So we're kind of on the downhill. So thank you for those of you who worked really hard to get those things to me. If you didn't, you can go back to day 16 through 20 to see what the work collected is for last week. I tried to email you if I was missing something, but I have a ton of emails open that I'm writing. If you are missing something, I'm in the process of writing those. I don't want to overwhelm anybody, and you don't have to get them to me right now. I just wanted you to be aware in case you were thinking it was sent to me and it didn't get to me for some reason. So if you get an email from me saying I'm missing these things, it doesn't mean you have to get it to me right this second. It just means, be aware that it would help for you to turn it in. Again, nothing officially has to be turned in, but if you don't, your child will get a UC. And again, that's fine. But just if you wanted your child to get that DL, get that to me before the end of our distance learning. I think it's May 22nd would be the last day. But yeah, these are the 3 for this week. So if you just send those to me as you do them, you can check that off your list and be done. The specials choice board is the same. I'm waiting for Dr. Halverstadt to send me the updated SMORE for this week, and then I will update that. And Zoom meeting today, of course. And I'm so sorry for those of you who couldn't get on last week. I accidentally had a 3 here, and it was supposed to be a 2. That is my mistake. But from now on, it should be great. I feel like every week we have a little Zoom hiccup, but thank you for your patience. And then I do have, I believe, updated meals for this week as well. So that's the updates on the Google slide. And then now we're diving into day 21. For reading today, they can read nature poems or a favorite poetry book. Again, Shel Silverstein is the one that pops into my mind, but if you have other ones, that's great too. So these are nature poems. And there's obviously some pretty tricky words, but especially for this one, we teach a lot of strategies. One of them would be chunky monkey, so hopefully they can see that echo is here, location is here, and put it together, echolocation. So just remind them of those strategies. They are stretchy snake, that's just stretching through the letters. There's chunky monkey, breaking it apart. There's lips the fish, looking at the first letter and getting your lips ready. There's eagle eye, looking at the picture for clues, and those are kind of like the 4 that we use the most. So if you want to jot those down and your child's having a hard time, you can remind them of those. But if your child's doing fine on their own, that's fine too. So yeah, they can read through that. Or get on ABC Mouse or Adventure Academy. Another note on Adventure Academy, ABC Mouse is more like a K through 2 program. Adventure Academy is 3 through 8, 3rd through 8th grade. So that might be a little too challenging for your child. Maybe the first time they log in, go through it with them and see if it's a good fit for them. I don't want them spending time on here if it's not going to be beneficial for them. So just kind of, if you're wanting to utilize that, be aware. And then of course there's Raz Kids. I get to see their growth and I can see, how they're moving up in their reading levels. So that's always fun. And the high frequency word list is another option. And for writing today, they'll be watching this poetry video. Now I just tried to open it because I try to review these before I go over it with you guys, of course. It says here, heads up, our site may be periodically unavailable over the weekend. And it is Saturday. I'm recording this on a Saturday, so hopefully this will work for you. If not, just let me know. And again, if it does ask for a code, it's Park Hill 2020. Actually, it's not a code. My mistake. You can log in with Park Hill 2020, Park Hill 2020. But it's just going to teach them some different poetry structures. Some of them we might have talked about in class, but some might be new and fun and exciting. So they'll choose a form of poetry that they would like to try. Sit outside. It's supposed to be beautiful this week, and I know I'm excited. I'm tired of this wintry weather in April. What kind of nature is inspiring you right now? Maybe try to point out to them like a beautiful tree, or maybe, I don't know about you, but I've noticed the grass is especially green, especially because we can't get outside that much. I feel like students might be noticing even more in nature, so I'm excited for them to get to do that. Um, Sketch a picture and try out a poem. And some of the poems, if I look correctly, like this horse one, the poem is kind of like the picture, so they can maybe draw an outline first and fill it in. But again, they can watch that video on their own and kind of get inspired. And then, of course, there's handwriting, print, or cursive. For math, we are focusing on a skill called arrays, A-R-R-A-Y-S. It is repeated addition. So covering rectangles is one way that we can practice it. Your goal is to cover a rectangle with equal size squares and count them using rows and columns. We talked to students about how rows go across like this, like in a movie theater, and columns go up and down like a column on a fancy government building. So you might want to remind them of that. Draw 3 different sized rectangles using a ruler or using straight lines. You could either draw it, or you could even have them get a book or something that's a rectangle shape and have them do this. Then find square objects such as Cheez-Its, mini Post-it notes, square Lego pieces, or they could cut out squares from this page if you have this. After covering the rectangle, write a repeated addition sentence for the rows, across, and the columns, down. Check that your sums are the same. So let's pretend this was a rectangle that a student had covered. You'll notice there's 4 columns and 3 rows. So the 2 addition sentences they would be writing would be 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. You'll see that equation here. And they will also be writing 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, which will also equal 12. So they could do that using 3 different rectangles, or you can do the math pages here. Okay, same thing. That's where the square printout might be helpful, or you could just have them kind of try to match the square by drawing. This one is harder if you don't have the square rectangle specifically for Envision, but if they wanted to try it with Cheez-Its, that's fine too. It just won't be a perfect fit, so you kind of have to guide them through that and teach them if the Cheez-It, like, ends here, we're just going to call that good. But if it goes like, just barely over, we want to count that Cheez-It, or whatever square object you are using. And the goal is for students to see that it doesn't matter if you're adding the columns or the rows, but all your addition sentences should have the same sum. And this is kind of a slight introduction to fractions. It's not really fractions yet, but you can see like here, the rows are kind of like thirds, the columns are kind of like fourths. You don't have to teach them that yet. This is just for you to know, like, it's leading them into the fractions that are coming up this week. And then they can play Addition Clash or get on Math Playground. Those are those math games online that they've been on a few times. So those are their options for math. And then for social studies, hunting for properties. So for properties of material, they give you these definitions, but I copied this video. It's on SafeShare, and I think the reason it wasn't working was because I had it set to a private video, but I turned that off, so hopefully this will work for you. If not, let me know, and I can just immediately put up a different link, like just the plain YouTube link. But I like SafeShare because it avoids some weird ads popping up or anything. But the properties of materials are any substance that has a name and has matter, so like anything they can hold, or even themselves. Something about the material, the property is something about the material we can measure, see, or feel. This can include a material's size, color, shape, weight, and texture is usually what we talk about in 2nd grade. There's other things too, but that's a bit advanced. Watch this video for a quick introduction to properties of materials. I have it set up to end at 1:17. This video goes into a lot more than what they need to know. So if I do have to put it on YouTube, please be aware that they don't need to watch the whole video. After they watch it, today they're going to go on a properties of material hunt, find materials, objects around your house, and describe their properties. Describe the color, texture, hardness, and flexibility of the object. So here is what I will be collecting for today. Again, you don't have to send it to me today. You can send it to me later. If you don't get to it today and you get to it tomorrow, send it to me tomorrow. I'm not worried about when it gets done. I just want to know that they're being exposed to this material. So you can see here the shoe, it even gives the categories for them. So for flexibility, you can talk to them about how that means how easily it bends, or is it really stiff? For example, like if they picked the coffee table, that is not bendable. You could say it's really rigid or solid. For hardness, of course, it would be hard. This does not have to be super, I don't know, fancy. You don't have to look for a word other than hard. You can pick soft, hard, medium, things like that are totally fine. Encourage them on texture to think about how they describe it, not just soft again, like if they pick the carpet, maybe bumpy, maybe they have a smooth carpet, things like that. So again, pick a few materials. Did it say how many? Doesn't say how many. I would say do about 3 on their own in addition to the shoe one. But if they want to do more too, that's great. And that's the plan for day 21. I hope you guys had a great weekend or are having a great weekend. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.